We've all heard those classic unsettling stories. You know, the person who steps out for a moment, vanishes into the ether, and is just never seen again.
They just disappear without a trace.
Exactly. But our deep dive today pivots that question entirely. What if the real mystery isn't about someone leaving our world, but about someone appearing in it?
Someone who, by some cosmic accident, slipped out of their reality and landed in ours.
Right, and they find everything familiar yet fundamentally and just chillingly wrong.
It really does sound like the premise for a science fiction movie, but this is exactly what we are analyzing today.
And this deep dive is built on some fascinating sources that they really bridge the anecdotal and the astronomical.
We're looking at the intensely personal case of a woman named Lenia Garcia, a Spanish woman who claims she woke up one morning in a parallel universe.
And we're contrasting that with an active, massive scientific search for physical proof, what astronomers have dubbed the cosmic cold spot.
So yeah, let's unpack this.
Our mission is to understand if Lenia's story is simply a singular case of, psychological delusion,
or if the cosmos actually provides a theoretical framework, and maybe even physical evidence, to support the idea that she truly made a shift between these invisible, overlapping realities.
It's about taking this bizarre anecdote and weighing it against advanced physics.
And we have to acknowledge that the default response here is skepticism. I mean, of course it is.
Of course.
But what's so fascinating is how the specific, tiny details Lenia reports, they align almost perfectly with what some leading theoretical physics models predict a neighboring parallel universe would look like.
It's not about finding yourself in a world of flying cars and aliens.
No, not at all. It's about finding yourself in a world that is 99% identical, yet subtly, irrevocably wrong.
So let's set the scene for you. We're talking about Lenia Garcia, who experienced this existential rupture that began on a completely average morning in Spain.
She woke up in her apartment, and the first signs of disruption were almost too small to even notice, but deeply unnerving.
What kind of things are we talking about?
Well, just domestic details. She didn't recognize the bed sheets she was sleeping in, or the duvet cover.
Okay, so small things.
Very small. She got up, looked around her apartment, and while the major furniture and the layout were the same, other objects were suddenly in the wrong places. Small things she owned were missing.
And there were other items she had never bought. It was as if her life had been replaced by a subtle, slightly off-kilter copy.
But the real emotional anchor of her life was just gone.
Her longtime boyfriend.
She went to contact him, only to find his number completely erased from her phone.
So she calls her friends, right, to ask about him.
And they genuinely had no idea who she was talking about. Imagine the terror of realizing the person who was the center of your world has been completely overwritten.
She must have been frantic.
She went to the authorities, desperate, trying to report him missing. But the police confirmed there was no record of the person she was searching for. No driver's license, no history, nothing.
Imagine trying to prove that a relationship you lived through, the history you shared, that it even existed.
It just didn't exist in this reality.
And the disruption wasn't just confined to her relationships. Her entire family history was altered.
Right. When she brought up recent family events to her parents, they insisted those things never happened.
The sources mention a specific example about her sister. Lenia clearly remembered her sister having shoulder surgery a few months prior. It was a big deal, a significant event.
A lot of stress and planning involved, yeah. But when Lenia spoke to her sister, the sister confirmed she had never undergone that procedure.
So Lenia is talking about specific, verifiable memories that she lived through.
In her previous reality, yes. But here, in this reality, those memories were just non-existent.
It even extended to her job. She drove to work, same company, but when she got there, she was suddenly working in a different department, a different physical location in the building.
And her boss was a man she had never met. But he claimed to know her well, referred to her by name and her work history.
So, despite having the same passport, the same ID, the same physical body, her core life history, her loved ones, family events, her career, it was all fundamentally altered.
And this is where the skeptical examination has to begin. I mean, she sought professional help, as any rational person facing this would.
She went to a psychiatrist.
And the psychiatrist diagnosed her symptoms, the memory inconsistencies, that feeling of profound displacement, as stress-induced hallucinations, which, is the easy answer.
It is the easy answer, and it's one that a lot of people listening might jump to. But what counter-evidence did the sources provide? I mean, did they explore whether the stress created these specific memories or just the disorientation?
That's a great question. The sources are careful to insist on Lenia's prior stability. She had no diagnosis of mental illness. She wasn't a substance user. Just a normal professional woman reporting these extraordinary events.
And the specificity matters.
It matters a lot. A general stress-induced breakdown usually results in fragmented or repressed memories, not the creation of highly detailed, consistent, but externally unverified memories of a boyfriend or a surgery that no one else recalls.
So we have two possibilities. Either a previously stable woman had a catastrophic, highly specific psychological break that generated a parallel history.
Or she truly shifted realities. The emotional weight of her insistence that these events did happen clashes directly with the external reality that they never did.
What's so fascinating here is that the high consistency of these inconsistencies, it forces us to step back and look for a physical explanation.
And Lenia's account, a reality that is 99% the same, just marginally changed, is exactly what level 3 multiverse theory suggests might exist.
Okay, so this is the pivot. We go from the personal story to the theoretical framework. Let's see how modern physics actually lays out the architecture of this cosmic sea she might have drifted into.
Right, because scientists are actively investing in this. The scientific consensus, which is informed by quantum mechanics and inflation theory, has moved beyond the idea that our vast observable universe is all there is.
We're just a small fraction of something much larger.
Exactly. And when we talk about parallel realities, physicists categorize them into several levels.
Okay, give us the quick synthesis of the levels and how they relate to this idea of a cosmic shift.
Absolutely. So, level 1 multiverses are basically universes in the same physical space, but they're just beyond our cosmic horizon.
The furthest point light has had time to travel to reach us since the Big Bang.
You got it. So anything beyond that is theoretically a continuation of our own universe. We just can't see it yet. That's level 1.
Okay, so just more of our own universe that's out of sight.
Exactly. Level 2 are different cosmic bubbles. They're very far away. And they might even operate under completely different physical laws, different gravity, different constants.
The bubble bath universes.
That's the one. They don't really help explain Lenia's case, but the ones that are most relevant to her experience are the level 3 multiverses.
These are the ones that are supposedly extremely close to us, the ones that could explain a tiny shift in a life history.
Precisely. To understand level 3, we have to talk about dimensions. In the space we live in, we have 4 dimensions, 3 spatial and 1 of time.
Right.
However, string theory and other cosmic models strongly suggest that total cosmic space may contain many more. Some theories propose up to 11 dimensions.
That's mind-bending. But why does that matter for proximity? I mean, if a whole universe is millimeters away, shouldn't we feel its gravity or something? How can it be so close without us noticing?
That is the critical question, and it goes right to the heart of the theory. The reason we don't feel it is because our universe, all of our matter, light, and forces, except gravity, is trapped on a 4-dimensional surface.
A surface that physicists call a brane.
Yep, a brain. Think of our universe as a single sheet of paper.
A sheet of paper existing within a much larger multidimensional room.
Perfect analogy. Other universes are also sheets of paper, or brains, running parallel to ours in those higher dimensions, maybe the 5th or 6th. The electromagnetic forces, the nuclear forces, those are all confined to their own brains. They can't cross the dimensional gap.
But gravity can.
Gravity is the exception. It's the only known force that's thought to be able to leak or propagate across these higher dimensions. But because it's diluted across those extra dimensions, its influence from a nearby brain is incredibly weak in our reality.
Making the parallel universe effectively invisible, undetectable.
Right, the implication is staggering. Universes could exist just a few millimeters away, running parallel to us. Close enough that a slight ripple or a quantum fluctuation could cause a localized shift.
And the fact that these realities are so similar, differing only by a lost boyfriend or a canceled surgery.
It's consistent with them being only slightly misaligned copies, generated by minor quantum variations in history. If parallel universes exist, there could be infinite Earths and infinite versions of Lenia Garcia living out slightly different lives.
So, the level 3 theory gives a theoretical grounding to Lenia's very specific confusion. But, science demands proof. We need something huge and physical to show 2 of these brains actually interacting.
A cosmic scuff mark left behind by a collision.
Exactly.
And this is where we turn from the personal anecdote to large-scale astronomy.
So today we're
and the most
diving
talked
deep
about anomaly
into the
in space,
Mandela Effect.
the mysterious
Why
cold
do
spot.
so many
This could
of
be
us
the first physical
vividly
evidence of the
remember
multiverse
things
system.
that
Potentially,
never
yes.
actually happened?
But to understand the cold spot, we first need to understand what the rest of the early universe looks like.
We're talking about the cosmic microwave background radiation, the CMBR.
Right, the oldest light in the universe. It's the echo left over from the Big Bang, about 13.8 billion years ago. And the critical insight here is that the CMBR is supposed to be incredibly uniform.
Only varying by tiny fractions of a degree, standard cosmology predicts near-perfect smoothness in this radiation.
That's right. So what makes the cold spot defy this rule? Well, this thing is truly vast. It's an enormous void, about 1.8 billion light years across, and it's estimated to be 13 billion years old.
And what makes it so anomalous is its temperature. It's incredibly cold.
Specifically, it's 0.00001 degrees Celsius colder than its surroundings.
Okay, that sounds like a minuscule difference. 0.00015 degrees. Why does that tiny deviation matter so much over that enormous distance?
Because the universe is supposed to be smooth on that scale. Astronomers have tried every standard physical explanation. Could it be a
David, can you
supervoid,
hear
a
me?
region lacking galaxies?
Possibly.
Yes, but even the largest known supervoids can't account for that temperature dip in that size. Statistically, based on the physics of our universe, the chance of this specific cold spot occurring naturally is extremely small. Some studies put it at less than 1 in 50.
So if we can't explain it using the physics of our universe, what's the leading, more extraordinary explanation?
Well, this raises that big question. If the anomaly is statistically impossible under our current model, what external force is acting on our universe?
And many scientists believe the cold spot could be the first empirical proof of the multiverse system in action.
Specifically involving those nearby level 3 brains we were just talking about.
The cosmic scuff mark.
Exactly. The hypothesis is that the cold spot
When we
is
look at
literally
the
the
sheer
physical
vastness
imprint,
of the universe,
intersection
our
or
own
the bruise
accomplishments feel
created
so
by a
small.
collision between our universe's
Realizing
brain and
this
another
cosmic
parallel
imposter
universe's brain,
syndrome.
And that interaction, that physical press, would cause a loss of energy.
resulting in the massive, persistent cold patch we observe. If that collision is real, it verifies that the multiverse theory isn't just abstract math, but a physical reality.
And if that collision is real, then Lenia's jump between worlds may be caused by a localized quantum rupture. it becomes scientifically plausible. It moves her story from pure delusion to potential physics.
It's just a fascinating intellectual journey we've taken today.
The physics are clear.
We started with the bizarre personal story of Lenia Garcia.
But what about the motivation?
According to our sources, she's accepted she may never return to her original reality.
And we connected that highly specific emotional rupture to the physical evidence, a universe-level collision, this cold spot.
It's a powerful pattern we see throughout history. Science consistently forces us to accept that our place in the cosmos is less unique and less central than we initially assumed.
I don't understand.
Copernicus showed us the Earth wasn't the center of the solar system.
Then Edwin Hubble demonstrated that our sun wasn't even the center of the galaxy. Our galaxy was just one of billions. And now,
if the multiverse theory, supported by evidence like the cold spot, holds true, then our entire universe itself is no longer special or
sophisticated projection
it's just
of
one
underlying
bubble, one sheet of reality among an infinite sea of bubbles, each containing slightly different histories and, well, versions of ourselves.
That is profound. We've gone from worrying about mismatched bedsheets to calculating the temperature of a 1.8 billion light-year cosmic bruise.
It truly forces you to confront the fragile nature of what you assume is fixed reality.
So thinking about the implications for your own life, if you consider that there might be a physical entity just like you, living out a completely separate life in a universe only millimeters away, what one action
And that
or
wraps
crucial
up
life choice
another
would you
episode
most
of the
want to
show.
observe your
Thanks for
parallel
tuning
self
in.
not make?
We'll catch you
What
next
does your
time.
desire to see that alternative tell you about the decision you made in this specific reality right now? Something to mull over until our next deep dive.